Good morning, fanatics, and welcome to the Flow with the Markets Tuesday for volume 148 from the weekly outlook and setups. In this analysis, we're going to have a look how Monday opened and what we potentially have for Tuesday and for the remaining of the week. Because again, as I always tell you, the analysis that we do on Saturday and Sunday usually ends up being invalidated, right? Because we never know how the market is going to open, what the sentiment will be, what the momentum will be on the open. So it's always important to flow, right? This is what we're here for, to flow with the market and to potentially see what we can expect. So this analysis is quicker than the other one. I'm just flowing through the market, just covering the pair, seeing how they open and how I will adjust my analysis, and then of course sharing some insights with you. So first of all, we always want to start with the economic calendar to check out what we actually have for this week. And fortunately, we do not have much to worry about. This day today, we don't have anything. We have a couple of speeches right there, but this is too late during the day. This is London closed already, and New York is also about to close, so nothing too much to worry about. London session is pretty quiet. We have a couple of Euro news, but nothing too important. And US session as well, nothing to worry about. And I pretty much think the only thing to worry about was on Wednesday. We had a couple of red news. Yep. So we have right there an ECB speech from Lagarde. We have a couple of Euro news right there. CPI, very important. CPI for the US. So tomorrow is actually going to be the most important day of the week. For the GBP traders, Thursday is going to be very important because we have a bunch of GBP news right there. Also GDP, very important. GDP for the GBP, right? And also initial jobless claims right there and PPI for the US, which is also pretty important as right now everybody's watching for inflation and potential stats regarding it. So investors really react to CPI, PPI, consumer confidence, and all of that stuff, right? And also Friday turns out to be another quiet day with, oh man, that's too little news. Okay. Well, yeah, as you can see, nothing to worry about. Wednesday is going to be very nice for the euro. Thursday is going to be nice for the pound. So make sure that you are actually aware of that. Okay. So what did the dollar do as it opened? I was expecting a little bit of sellers, right, coming in from this zone, but we can see that we just opened and we started to flow a little bit to the upside, right? So what we did is we kind of created a break of structure above this one, right? We can classify it as a break of structure, or we can also classify it as a potential liquidity grab, right? Because what we did is we spiked above the previous weekly high, right? And right now we started to massively reject, right? Which makes me think again, I don't want to look for reversals, but it makes me think, can we start looking for retracement trades, right? And a potential pullback, because we have again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish weeks. Well, can we have one bearish, please? So on the daily time frame, we had an indecision candle with a liquidity grab on top, and right now the 4-hourly as well, we had this push. And if I just delete everything and reanalyze, so what we have right now is this push, then the market creates a higher high coup, then it pulls back to create a new higher low. Nice, it tried to push up with this wick, as you can see, failed, tried again and failed, right? So right now we are just at the middle, right? They're trying to figure out what we are gonna do. Dropping onto the 1H, what we can see is again this break of structure. The potential higher low was this one. As you can see, we tapped it once, reacted, tapped it twice, with also break of structure on a 15-minute time frame, reacted again, and right now we are just ranging in the middle. And if I go back to the 15-minute, we had 1, 2, 3 runs into the highs, change of structure, retest, massive short. This short actually provided a beautiful long that I took on yesterday on EU. And right now what we can see is that bearish structure is intact, right? Since here, lower high, massive push to the downside, pullback, failure to make a new higher high, creation of a new lower low, pullback again, and right now we are kind of chopping around, right? So according to me, this one right there is the major lower high, and right now we are in an overall roof. Okay, my alerts are pinging, it's time to trade. And right now we have this overall Asian range, right? So I have 2 scenarios right now. And actually there is an immediate one for a potential short entry. So this is a potential lower high that we can look at to trade from, right? If this one fails, then I will be looking for a retest of this guy, a new change of structure, and then potentially attacking the lows, right? Of course, let's be open for the longs, right? We have this tap, then we have this tap push. The market has not broken structure to the upside to confirm bullish commitment, right? But what we have right now is a break below the Asian low, right? And right now we're starting to shift higher. Okay, so of course what we can have also is a retest and then just an explosion higher. Okay, but for now what I currently have is I am framing more of a short bias on the DXY. So let's see how this one works. First short area, if you fail, then you can also take some longs if you fail, if it develops like this. But then I'm also going to be looking for shorts from here. And yeah, if everything fails, then guess what? I might not take even a short, and then I will adapt to longs. Okay, so that is the DXY for now. Kind of still, again, keep in mind we're still in this kind of overall range. So we consolidate, fake the low, fake the high, and right now consolidating again. So we can expect some fun stuff to happen. So stay mindful. Okay. Euro USD is still in this range, so it's a little bit hard to analyze the full hourly, but we overall have this development, right? The push to the downside, but instead of continuing lower, I think we might go higher if the DXY, of course, hold. But of course, if the DXY holds, then that means that EU is actually going to go higher, right? Because it's pretty much the index. So I'm going to drop to the hourly time frame. It's a little bit cleaner. So what we have right there is, let's just read the structure. So overall on the higher time frames, we are bearish. And what is happening right now is, again, in order for the market to continue going lower, it has to collect orders. And it's going to do this in two ways. It's either going to push, pull back, and continue, right? And the pullback being the accumulation of orders, or it's going to push, consolidate, maybe last liquidity grab, and go, right? And this is pretty much the concept that a lot of you know is like a channel, ascending channel, blah, blah. I don't know what it is, but it's simply like an accumulation, right? Before making a move lower. And this is to trick people into buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, right? And then the market usually goes for a liquidation, okay, to the downside. So right now what we have is a slight bit of a bullish scenario. So remember I had this higher low right there, right? So what the market did is, if I try to illustrate it, so we had this high right there. This high created a massive push to the downside, which is cool. We have a lower high, lower low, boom. This push to the upside kind of broke these lower highs right there, which indicates some bullishness is entering into the market. And but we tapped inside this guy. So from here I was bearish, but this is Friday, so I did not take any shorts. But from here, what we should have done is to create a new lower low right there. But what we did is we failed, and we created actually a shift formation right there, and we started heading higher. So this makes me think that potentially this high can get taken out. Not even to say this high. This high is a little bit stronger because this one actually made a new lower low. So currently we might be in this sort of range, but we might just take out this high and then potentially reverse lower. Right, so this is how I think that currently we can actually mark this high as a potential liquidity area that the market might seek. Okay, so if we zoom in, we have the push. We have a very correct, like, look at the push. It took 1, 2, 3, 4 candles to reach the high, and then it took 19 candles to reach the low. What does this mean? Well, that bullish momentum is intact. And there was the long that I took yesterday, somewhere right there. It was a beautiful long. Again, my full TP was right here, but I took all the majority of my partials somewhere right there, right? Then we had a beautiful retest for another long opportunity. There it is. And right now we're just consolidating a little bit. So there is my higher low right now that I would love to long from, right? But we already had a 50% pullback, and right now we're chopping around. So two things can happen on EU. Sorry if I'm speaking too fast. I'm actually looking on my other chart, and it's cooking up for some trades right now. So 15 minutes. So currently what I don't like is that we have a manipulation above, well, it's maybe not a manipulation, but we have a spike above the Asian high, right? And we might have shorts cooking in right now. But what I also have is a potential long area right there. So we are just tapping into my long area, and it might start building up for longs, right? I don't love this big momentum to the downside, right? But right now, if you start shifting on the lower time frame, like for example, on the 3 minute, the 1 minute, if we start having some bullish market right now, then potentially I might start looking for longs, right? Of course, the next area that we can look at is this one. And if those actually fail right now, then this one is going to expose these flat lows. So we can actually go into this lower region of 1.0530, right? So this is a high probability long area, right? Also, let's keep in mind the shorts, because again, we saw the DXY, we might actually start exploding right now. So this one might start dropping. Okay, so what we have is 1, 2, 3 run into the highs, massive push to the downside that is creating a break of structure. So we might actually return to this guy right there and go short, right? And it looks like it's coming in with big steam right now. So I do think we actually might just crush those levels, take out the Asian low, and then head lower, right? Early in the morning, as I was doing my analysis for the community as well, I was also considering shorts from here, shorts from there, but nothing got tapped. So no potential shorts for a pullback trade was available. So right now I'm just gonna see how the market is gonna respond from here and see if we can take any longs or if we can continue to break to the downside, right? So pretty much that's EU. This is the scenario that I would love. This is the potential other scenario. And of course, this is the third scenario right there that I'm looking at. And of course, the fourth one is going to be a complete drop to the downside. So again, as I always say, let's flow, right? This is my view on EU. EJ, I'm not going to spend much time on the JPYs, okay? Guys, they are very tricky. And what I'm simply going to do is try to overanalyze and force something, right? We had a spike higher, drop lower, pullback. So if I go to the hourly time frame, yes, it might look a little bit like short, but just look at that price, right? I don't love this one, right? But again, if we have a look on the hourly, we had a push, we had a break, we have chop around, we have a tap, and right now it looks like it might want to reverse. So if you're looking to short Euro yen, I would suggest you wait for a break of this, retest, and then potentially take a short. So as simple as I can make it, right? If you're looking for shorts, because again, remember, we have an area a little bit higher right there. And we also have, are those lines inside bar? Yeah, we have an inside bar as well. And right now, yeah. So we can expect some shakeout right now on the JPYs, but it's not ready yet. Let's be realistic. What are we doing right now is we're just ranging, right? So anything you do it on the lower time frames and be quick, right? And trade with the overall momentum on the hourly and on the 15-minute, right? Which right now it's a little bit hard to determine because you can also say, well, this was a higher low. Right now we're about to make a new higher high. So overall tricky, right? But if you wish to short, which is what I kind of see right now, I will wait for this break, retest, and continuation lower. Aussies. So AUD actually, I was sure that this target is being taken out first, and as you can see, 8th of May, boom, drop even before market open. This one just crushed the zone, and we haven't had a pullback, which is unfortunate. And we also crushed this liquidity target as indicated. And yeah, right now, can we initiate a pullback, a bullish pullback on this one? Well, it would be nice, right? Because we took out these lows, we took out these one, we took out this one, we're tapping into something on the left, but it can just continue dropping to the downside as well. We kind of can drop a new daily range right now. But yeah, the 4-hourly is pretty bearish, right? So right now we have this lower high formation that we can drop, and we're just tapping inside it, right? On the hourly, we also have this hourly big wick, then with the break of structure to the downside. And right now the 15-minute is changing a little bit to the upside. But again, as long as we are kind of, let me maybe make this one like this. I like this whole buy and then a very big sell-off. Tons of kind of structural levels right there. And we have a tap inside. So how I would approach AU right now for shorts is I would like to see a break of this structure, because this is the last higher low on the 15 minutes, and then potentially similar to EJ, break, retest, and then continuation lower, right? This is how I would expect it. If I check out the Asian range, very interesting Asian range, massive spike lower than a massive spike higher, which is not great because we also have a little bit of bullishness kicking in. We also see a little bit of bearish dollar, maybe bullish euro. So who knows, this might actually go higher. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But so far, as long as the 4-hourly is bearish, I keep shorting. Okay, and I short after a shift of structure right there on the 15-minute. We have 1, 2, 3 run into the highs as well. So let's see if we can have a break, retest, right, somewhere right there, and then potentially continue lower. But also be open for the longs, right? Be open for the longs. We can have a long from here, which actually caused like a nice shift of structure. We can have a long from there as well. So be fluid, right? JPY probably looks the same. Yeah, this one just tapped into the zone, kind of stopped for a little bit, and then it just crushed to the downside. Yeah, the lower high is here potentially. Right now we're in a pullback. It's definitely 50% of this range. Yeah, well, same scenario, right? This has a little bit more room to the upside. We can say that it's retesting this range, this buy, and then a sellout that actually created also lower high. The 15-minute is changing up a little bit, which is a good thing because we're currently in a pullback, but keep in mind that it can also go long, right? So we might have this guy right there, but if we break strongly below, right, then a pullback, lower high. Then my phone is ringing early in the morning. Yeah, then we can have a potential lower high right there and potential lower low, right? So wait for the structure to shift. NZD USD probably the same. Yeah, so I was looking either for a big pullback or for a continuation lower and then a pullback. Well, the pullback was not big. We just had this one candle, very similar to AU. So we marked this one candle. We are already tapping inside. Then what we want to do is drop to the 15-minute. There it is. We're already having almost the break of structure, right? So let's see if we can have some nice momentum crushing in, retest, lower high, and then a continuation lower. This is how I'm looking at the majority of the pairs this morning, and see how quickly we can just frame an idea. You see 4-hourly time frame. What is the market doing? It's going down. Where is the last lower high? It's here. Where is the range? It's there. Are we 50%? Yes. Do we have bearish market on the lower time frame? Well, not yet. So what we want to wait for is for break, for change to bearish market, pullback, lower high, and then we go down, right? So keep in mind it might take a little bit more time, especially on the JPYs. Like if you look at NU, it's kind of already reversing, but NJ looks a little bit far away from reversing, right? And this is probably due to UJ. Yeah, this one is also very tricky. I just don't know what to expect on this one. It's push, nice pullback. So the daily is bullish on this one, as we discussed on the weekly outlook. We started with a spike above the high, very similarly to the DXY. We spiked the high, and what we have right now, which is very interesting, is if we zoom in, you can see that the last higher low is somewhere around right there, right? I can see it with the bodies right there, with the wicks, and we have a shift, right? We have a break, right? So does that mean that we have a full-blown reversal? Well, not really. But we can start expecting a little bit of a drop to the downside. So let's see how this one is going to play. Again, as I told you many times, we have an uptrend. The market breaks the last one. It can be a liquidity grab for the market to continue higher. So wait for it to respect the zone and then break again, right? So what you want to see right now is respect of the zone, break again, and then from there you can have a confirmed downtrend. Okay. So let's see. This is UJ. I'm not going to go to a lower time frame because pretty much there is nothing to say. It kind of looks like all the JPYs. We had this massive run lower during Asia, and right now it's kind of turning bullish. So I think this one has a little bit more upside, at least towards this zone, right? Those should be red. So yeah, this means that the JPYs can also push in a little bit higher. Well, let's give it some time. It's still 44 minutes into Frankfurt. London is about to open, so let's see. UCAT to the moon. Look at that, man. Okay, well, higher high, we should be also looking for a higher low. Potentially the higher low is right there. So let's see if it's gonna reach for us to take some longs. This was also going this bastard to the upside. Let's have a look at GU. So yeah, GU did a spike to the downside, taking out this low, right? And what we have right now is a potential shift of structure on the 4-hourly, which is actually quite good, right? We have a shift of structure on the 4-hourly. We had a retest. And right now, can we potentially break this high and head for this retest of at least this structure right there? Not to say that I would love to see this guy, right? So also the pound is looking a little bit bullish, but keep in mind the news for the pound are tomorrow. Community took lovely longs right there, massive long on this one yesterday, similar to EU, but in much bigger range, right? So we shifted structure, retested right there, massive run into the highs, already pulled back, tries to push higher, and it's already kind of coming into this zone. Right now it's chopping up a little bit right there. So what I would love to see is for it to come at least to this zone right there, so we can potentially start taking longs. Okay, very simple. I'm looking for longs. It can even reach this guy right there. I don't think so, because we had a push, pullback. This can be the potential higher low. Pump higher, chop, chop, chop. We have a liquidity grab right there. This liquidity grab below this low, pump into the highest break of structure. So let's see if we can have a retest at this zone right there, right? And then to potentially continue higher. Can we continue higher from here? Possible, but it's not high quality setup according to me, because there is nothing, right? Right now, actually, the market is a little bit bearish. So I do think we can have this drop in London Open. So let's wait for it, okay? GJ probably did nothing this one. Okay, so we have actually this scenario playing out right there. We have a spike into the highs, actually perfectly tapping this zone, and we have a short. Okay, this one is actually playing out. Again, target this. Right, let me actually check what's happening on. Do we have pause? We don't have pause. Oh, stop recording. Alrighty, let's carry on. Had to look at something. Sorry for that. But yeah, I was saying that GJ actually looks pretty bearish. So we had a retest of this lower high, pushed to the downside, pulling back, and right now it looks like it's setting up for another short. So if we check out the 15-minute, it's probably looking like the majority of the JPYs, like creating a little uptrend right now. So what I need to see is this uptrend being invalidated, right? Because currently, as I said, we're just trading higher. We had this very strange Asian range, massive pump to the downside, then a massive explosion higher. So I kind of get the feeling we might actually go and revisit a little bit of a higher price across all the JPYs. So make sure that you are also ready for this. But if we break below right now, the zone, then potentially a retest, as I said, on the majority of the pairs, and then we can continue going lower. And again, long-term target for me will be this low, right there. Okay, this one I'm not paying attention to this one at all. It's kind of looking like ranging as well. Yeah, retest it. Let's see if it actually pushes higher or if it crushes lower. I have no idea regarding this pair. Goat started bearish as well. So yeah, from this demand right there, we pushed into the highs, we created the lower high, we continue dropping lower. So probably if there is a very, very high chance that we are taking out this low right there. So if you are looking for shorts, then of course I would usually wait on Forex for a deeper pullback, but this one can just continue straight crushing to the downside. But overall, my bias is short. So with your strategy, if you can kind of filter out any short opportunities, then this is potentially the bias, right? And I'm looking for 1840 to potentially tap and then to reevaluate what's going to happen, because this one is a pretty strong big area. Look at this big sell-off, then a huge buy-off, right? We also have a little bit one within right here. Probably this low is also being taken as potential liquidity point. So let's see if those two levels get taken, tap inside right there, and then from there we are going to reevaluate and see if any buyers are going to step in, okay? Indices taking out major lows, right? So I bought some yesterday as the market is opening up because we're breaking some major lows. So I do expect a correction. I do expect actually a continuation lower, but you have to constantly keep buying as well on this crash. So yeah, I'm expecting a little bit of lower prices on US 30, but right now after taking out the major low, we can also expect a little bit of a pullback. So let's see where to. Well, lower high, lower high, lower high. It could either be this right there, right? Or it can either come in somewhere right here. Okay, so let's see how it opens. Let's make sure to wait for New York and then to potentially strike. Nasdaq should be quite bearish as well. We have tech stocks really dropping. So again, those ones are not providing great pullbacks. We're already tapping into a major zone that I have, right? We already actually took out this low. So from here, right, around 12K all the way down to 10K, right? It's a potential buying area, right? I have not really refined a level right there that we can look at, but potentially right now we're entering into buyer's territory if we're not gonna have really a big pullback, big recession, right? Like we can see that the drop during COVID was like 30%, and I do think right now we are almost there, right? So almost towards 30%. So I do expect the market to stop somewhere right there. So let's see what happens. Right now, keep shorting until seen otherwise. The market is bearish. I will consider this to be my last lower high. If you have difficulties, go to your line chart. You can see that this is the last pullback before the drop. So this is the last lower high. And if we have a pullback towards this overall range, then potentially shorts, okay? And S&P as well tapped into 4K territory. And as I told you, from 4K, my kind of buying area is starting out. I do think we can push a little bit lower towards 39, all the way towards 37. So I'm going to be buying more as it drops. But yes, overall still bearish. My portfolio is really suffering as well. I'm in profits long term because I've been investing for a long time. But currently, I'm sure a lot of investors are heavily down, right? Oh, look at that, man. Bitcoin is time to buy, guys. Wow, this one really dropped. Wow, this one really dropped. right? So we actually revisited, man, I think I'm gonna put in some on this one. Just in case it reverses, right? We retested all the way down the extreme, 30K, but I kind of think that 28 is also gonna get tagged out first before we reverse. But yeah, just massive bearish sentiment on crypto, and also it was very well paired with the indices as well, right? So right now I do think you can get some shorter term buys on Bitcoin if you're intraday trading it, because we have a beautiful 15-minute shift. Retest a little bit lower. I do think a nice buy can be taken in right there as a retracement trade, right? And see if we can reach into the highs. But very interesting times right now. Everything is dropping and it's reaching kind of in a buy zone. Like look at Ethereum as well. It's when did that happen? Yeah, it's just like overnight, and right now we're already pushing into the highs. Okay, we're missing out on a good buy again. Yeah, but on Ethereum I would really love for it to take this level right there, around 29, 2150, right? Really want to take out this one, and then potentially I'm gonna finally scale in and then just let it go. Yeah, I'm around, yeah, I'm not sure of percentages, but I'm heavily also down on crypto, so it is what it is, right? Let's wait for it. Currently, again, we are just bearish, so don't try too hard to long. If you're trading those things, then potentially pullback trades are valid. If we have potential pullback right there, then you can look for, ooh, man, today is a busy day. A lot of alerts pinging out. So yeah, this is how I look into it. But again, I would expect another drop to the downside, especially on Ethereum. And again, Bitcoin, a lot of people are calling 28. Yeah, well, this is pretty much the liquidity target that we can take out before we reverse higher. So let's see. But I do think still, if you're patient, if you're investing wisely, you should have not put all of your money right there. You should be just putting it slowly, and as the market drops, then you put up more, right? Or you put just the same amount, right? So I'm kind of curious, and I might actually put in some, because 30K is a really good price to buy Bitcoin right now. So we have some developments right now. My alerts are pinging. We can see that the DXY actually failed to hold from this level, so we're potentially headed towards this one right now. We have Euro USD with massively plummeting below these levels, so it looks like we're about to take out these flat lows and head for a lower zone, which means that also shorts are kind of valid if you can find any shorts within these areas, but also means that we can just spike below these lows and also reverse. So this is again time to flow. GU is also potentially just pinged me as well. It's retesting a buying zone. So let's see how this one is right now gonna respond. And AU is kind of 50-50, right? So let's have a look at GU. Let's have a look at EU if we can have any longs. Let's see if DXY, can it actually go a little bit above, or is it gonna respect from here? Well, this is what we have to see. But I do think right now, if you're looking at the charts, I do think GU could be a very nice opportunity. And my chart actually froze. Okay. Well, this is where I'm gonna wrap it up. I really hope you enjoyed this one and you're ready to flow with the markets. We're having a lot of volatility right now. You can see a lot of alerts pinging. It's actually time to trade right now, because we're 5 minutes into London Open. So I wish you a very successful week. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me, and let's crush it.